Hi, this is Charlie Page, and lately we've been talking about how to use video in your online business and how to sell more and how to use those two together to sell even more. Recently, I shared with you the standard video sales letter formula I learned years ago, and now I'm going to share with you my personal video sales letter formula. It's similar, but a little bit different. It's based upon the sales formula I learned when I was 19 years old, which is a long time ago. It served me well in many industries. It's easy to understand and use, and it works equally well for written sales letters as it does for video sales letters. In fact, it works for any piece of selling material at all, except like a classified ad. You ready? Here we go. I'll go through the steps first and then share a little bit about each of the steps. It's a 5-step formula. Step 1 is attention. You got to get their attention, right? Step 2 is involvement. You get them involved with the process. 3 is conviction, where you convince them that your offer is right for them. Step 4 is desire, where you touch on their desire for change, their desire for benefits. And step 5 is simply closing. It's simply asking for the order. Many people teach a similar formula to the one I'm discussing that omits the step of conviction, convincing people. So I don't leave that step out. Now let's walk through the steps and talk about each one a little bit. Before we do, it's important to know that each step is designed to move the buyer along the spectrum from being skeptical to being a buyer. And listen, that's where we all start. We all start with a little bit of skepticism. We're not sure this is going to work. We're not sure it's going to work for us. We're not sure we're really going to do it or it's worth the money. It's a natural process we all use when buying. There's nothing wrong with that. The more you understand it, the better off you are as a salesperson. Now, the steps again, and then a little bit of elaboration about what they do. Number 1 is attention. This is your headline. If you're writing a sales letter or doing a video sales letter, it doesn't matter. You've got to have an attention-grabbing headline. The only job is to get the person to read the copy or to watch the video. Once that's done, your headline's job is finished. It can go home and retire because it's done its job. So its only job is to grab attention. Now, some people use what's called a pattern interrupt to do this. And for a while on the internet, the pattern interrupts were getting hilarious. They just made no sense at all. They were crazy just to get people's attention for any reason. But that can really backfire. If you'll notice, a lot of that hypey stuff has gone away because most pattern interrupts don't make sense with the rest of the presentation. So if what you're doing is selling a business opportunity to show a girl in a bikini makes no real sense, except it's like, oh, stop traffic. For example, this will get attention. What a beautiful dog. Look at that. I love dachshunds. As would a girl in a bikini, which I'm not going to show you. Many people use these tricks, but I just don't like them and I don't recommend it. So I think that you can write a great headline, get their attention, do something visual without resorting to these tricks. Step number 2, involvement. You've got their attention. Now, what are you going to do with it? You get them involved. You need their involvement, even if that just means they answer yes in their head, right? So, we've all heard there's a conversation going on in their mind. You need to be part of the conversation. While that's true, for most people, that's like Greek. That makes no sense at all. So let me share with you what I think about it a little bit. They really are having a conversation in their head all the time. And they're saying, yeah, I'm not sure if this is true or not. So if you can get them to say yes to something that's like a no-brainer, that gets the yes momentum moving, and that's a good thing. This is why questions like, are you tired of, or do you want, work very, very well. So are you tired of being tired all the time? Yes, I am. Do you want to lose 20 pounds in the next 6 weeks? Yes, I do. You get them saying yes, and that builds yes momentum. That's very powerful. I've got an entire article at charliepage.com on building yes momentum. If you can create a statement that most people will answer yes, you have their involvement. And if you want my help with this, just leave a comment with your statement and I'll evaluate it for you. I'll be happy to do that. Whether you're seeing this on Facebook or somewhere else or on my blog at charliepage.com, leave a comment, leave your statement that would elicit a yes, and I'll be happy to evaluate it. Or if you'd like me to help you improve it, if I can, I will. Involvement can be much more than this. There can be a lot more to it than this, but that's the basic premise. including running surveys, ask campaigns, polls, self-assessments, and much more, all designed to get people involved in the process. Now, step number 3 is conviction. This is a step that I love. A lot of people skip this. I think it's a mistake. This is the logic part of the equation. And the fact is, we buy on emotion and defend it with logic, but we've got to have our logic itch scratched before we're going to move forward. So I like to get that out of the way up front. I like to approach the logical part of the brain before the emotional part. I believe it's very, very important and very often overlooked. I know that it is. You can do this with sentences like, makes sense, right? So if you're doing a video and you make a point and you want them to agree, you just say, makes sense, right? And as they acknowledge that, their logic kicks in and they say, yeah, that does make sense. Or if describing something that does not make sense, you make a statement like, that just doesn't make sense to me. What do you think? I mean, you could say that on a video, and it works very, very well. The more you make your videos like you're having a conversation, the better. I mean, I'm imagining right now that I'm mentoring a younger person and sharing with them how I would do a video sales letter. This gets involvement and conviction, and that is a winning combination. So conviction means convincing someone to keep watching or keep reading, and that's very important. Now we get to desire. This is the most often used step. You're going to recognize this one. This is where most marketers live. They talk about desire. They think about desire. They do all this stuff to build up tension, and that's all fine and good, but it takes more than just that to make sales and to make happy customers. A lot of marketers push desire so hard these days that desire can tip over into hype, so you got to be careful with that. It's important to be enthusiastic about your product. I love my products. I am enthusiastic about them. Man, I'm telling you. But you can't let yourself get carried away. You've got to stay realistic. So desire is very important and not to be skipped. Even if you hate hype, you must help the customer want what you have to offer. Here's the key, and this is the main takeaway from this video. If they don't want it, they're not going to buy it. Because here's the thing. People do what they want. They buy what they want. They buy with emotion the thing that they want, the thing that excites them right now, and then later they bring up a logical argument to talk about why that happened, right? So I have a friend who had a car. His tires were kind of wearing out. He wanted a new car. He went to the dealership, and what do you think he came home with? A brand new $30,000 car when he needed $800 worth of tires. And he said, honey, we needed tires anyway, so I just got another car. Logic alone won't do it. You really have got to touch on desire. For example, I'm convinced that the Golden Gate Bridge is a very fine bridge. Logically, I'm convinced of that. I have no desire to own it. And I'm not convinced that a Corvette is the best car in the world. I don't think it's the best engineered car, the best running car, the most economical car. But let me tell you, I would like to own a Corvette. So step number 5 is the close. And again, this can be very complicated or it can be very simple. Here's the thing. If you've done your job in the first 4 steps, this is simply the next logical step. So it doesn't have to be a big, hard thing. This is called the call to action. Some people say CTA. And it can be very simple. And it should always include the main benefit you're offering and action. So click here to start saving time is better than click here to get started. You see the difference? I'm going to go back. Let's say you're selling a time-saving device, something that'll save a person 10 hours a week. Click here to start saving time is much better than to click here to get started or click here to go or just click here. So in your call to action, whether that's in an ad, on a website, in a video, doesn't matter, just add that little action statement. Always make your call to action active. You're asking them to take the next logical step to get what they clearly want since they've read that far or watched that long. So if a person's made it to the bottom of your 3,000 word long sales letter, they want to move forward or they wouldn't have invested all that time. Somebody watches your 12 or 13 minute long video sales letter, they want to move forward. What you've got to do is answer the questions in their mind so they can move forward and then say to them, okay, you've watched it this long. The next logical step is this. And you tell them what to do, which is to order. So there you have it. That's my video sales letter formula. Actually, my sales letter formula for everything. I used this when I was doing in-person sales, telephone sales, internet sales, everything. Attention, involvement, conviction, desire, and close. 5 simple steps. If you structure your sales process that way, I think you'll see good results. These are the building blocks of selling for me, and they have been for a very long time. I started out as a commission-only salesman when I was 19, and now I'm 62 while I'm recording this, and I've never had a job where I made a salary. I've only ever either been straight commission or self-employed. This is the formula I've used all that time. I still use it today. Use these in your selling material or analyze your current selling material based on them and see what happens. If you like this and you want much more, visit me at charliepage.com. I've got videos, gifts you can download. I have articles, all kind of stuff. And please do share this video while you're thinking about it. I would really appreciate that. This is Charlie Page. Thank you for being here, and I hope you have an excellent day.